say the bracha. Okay, we're holding 162, bottom paragraph. He's going to explain, this is between my reflection, how does one come to appreciate what Hashem has does for a person, and why people don't appreciate. We know, we acknowledge, but there's no sense of appreciation. So he gave a number of reasons. This is the third. He says, a Muslim said what he had said was that a person is born into this existence without intelligence. He says, like a wild donkey. And then you develop, and eventually, what do you believe? This is the way it's supposed to be. Every human being evolves, is healthy, is intelligent, has certain basic needs. God provides for everyone. Therefore, there's no sense of appreciation. Therefore, why should I feel beholding? I'm no different than anyone else. Does God treat me in a more unusual, positive way than anyone else? Therefore, a person doesn't sing God's praises for that. They equate this to a child, infant. Here, a person finds an abandoned child in a desert, and the person was Bal Chesed, took pity to the child, and he took the child into his home. He raised him, he fed him, he clothed him, and through his generosity, all goodness was given to this child. Until the child developed and he realized and understood all the good this man did on his behalf. Here, he found a certain person fell into the hands of his enemy. He heard a person was taken into captivity, being tortured, being deprived food, starving, naked, over an extended period of time. Listen, the same man goes, his sense of compassion and feeling overwhelmed him, and he went and he appeased the enemy, this man. He was in debtor's prison. He released him from prison, and he forgave the debt due to this man, what he had done on his behalf. And the same man, he took this person who was originally imprisoned into his home. And he did a fraction of the good that he had done on this behalf of this abandoned child, who he'd given everything in his life. This man who originally was a prisoner, he cannot forget what the man did for him, his level of appreciation. And his level of beholdness and thankfulness is greater than the child, which he raised the child from nothing. He only provided the release, and he intervened that he should not suffer any longer. And just now, short period of time, since a fraction of what the man did for the child, nevertheless you can compare the beholdness of the second person to the first. Why? Because when he had this change of situation from suffering and pain and impoverishment and being deprived, he had his full intelligence and his full emotion, and he understands what the man provided for him. Therefore, he appreciates and recognizes the goodness of this chosid and his overwhelming kindness. The child initially, he found an abandoned child. So the child initially had no understanding of what was being provided on his behalf. Although eventually he understood factually what happened, what the man did. He knew the whole history. They show you rogel bo b'mein aroso, because he's accustomed. This is the way it's supposed to be. Anybody who has any degree of intelligence doesn't question what happened. The child understands clearly what happened, what was provided on his behalf. The chesed and the goodness of the man providing for this child, for this infant, is totally all-encompassing and more obvious. He has an obligation unceasingly to sing his praises and so on and so forth continuously. Zedoma Shomer HaKosov, Vanochi Tilgalti Lefraim Kochem Al Zerosov. He says, I accustomed Ephraim, meaning Klal Yisrael. I've taken them into my arms, V'lo Yodu Ki Rafosim. And they do not know that I healed them. I mean, they know, factually they know the fact, but in terms of emotionally, a sense of thankfulness, beholdness, it's not there. I always say, the person has good parents, provide everything. A stranger does 100,000th of what the parent did for the child. The feeling of thankfulness and appreciation to the stranger is greater than to the parent. Not that, and the child does not deny that the parent provided endlessly more than the stranger. But the feeling of appreciation, you go out of your way for that person, which you won't necessarily do it for your parent. You'll be more sensitive to that person's feelings than your own parents' feelings. So he's explaining it. That's exactly what it is. Right? Because you're used to it. It's supposed to be this way. Right? This other person sees, if this man wouldn't take pity on me, I suffered, I'd still be suffering. So it's in a state of understanding your predicament, and this man is the cause of the change of my predicament. A child doesn't understand what the predicament was. Sometimes, who has appreciated? If you don't have, now you have, you appreciate what it means not to have. Chovos HaLevavos was reading this morning in the Avos Chesed, in the footnote, he writes, in Europe, they instituted a minog, poor people used to come to homes. And people didn't want to be bothered, so they instituted that people should give a certain amount of money to a fund, and they banned poor people from coming to the community. And you go to this certain address, and it would give you a certain amount of money based on your need. So he says over there that in terms of raising children, he says, your child is provided for. If your child sees what it means not to have, when he sees how poor the person is, he comes to the house and he doesn't even have food or the way he's dressed, and the child sees the difference in himself, he has an appreciation for what he has. But if the child doesn't even know poor people exist, because he visually he never sees them, they don't let him into the house, so how could he appreciate anything he has? He'll never be appreciative. That's one of the points he makes. So just in terms of chinuch, raising a child to be appreciative, it's important to know that others don't have. He should be thankful for what he does have. That's the point. And that's the point he's making here also. He says, have both. Have both. He says, for multiple reasons, why it's the wrong way to go. That's the problem with a doorman. I live in the doorman building. Okay? But I give my doorman chametz before Pesach. You know that? That's the way I express my generosity. And if I got a non-kosher bottle of wine, I give it to him. Because I can't drink it myself. Talking about an expensive bottle.